Today's video is about car accident claims and is brought to you by Cleary Co Solicitors. If you've been in a car accident, there is every reason to seek medical attention, even as a preventative measure, and there is no reason that we can think of to not seek medical care, although avoidance of post-accident medical care can be quite common. A general dislike for attending doctor surgeries and attendance at a hospital should, in our opinion, be sidelined when one's body has to withstand the impact of a car accident, and testing of any areas of concern should be done, even as a precautionary measure. We've learnt that sometimes people after an accident make the decision to not attend a doctor until the problem becomes unsustainable. The only way to get a clear idea on what has happened to your body after a car accident is to be tested for each of the areas causing concern. Here are some of the medical tests that can be conducted which can help to provide an assessment and arm oneself with the facts. Neck injury. Common whiplash can result in muscle strain, ligament sprain, or disc injury. Soft tissue, joints, and neck bones all work together to provide neck movement and hold up the head basically. The greater the impact of a crash can result in cervical dislocation and disc injury. A doctor can conduct a physical examination, listen to the patient's symptoms, and may direct an X-ray takes place if a fracture was suspected, or may require an MRI if there is concern about an injury to a disc or the spine. These tests can rule out matters at the outset and identify problems at the outset if they exist. Spinal cord injury. The spinal cord is the connective runway distributing messages between the brain and the spinal cord and controls everything we do basically. The brain and the spinal cord make up the central nervous system. The impact of a car accident to this area can inhibit the travel of messages back and forth to the brain and affect the central nervous system. A radiographic evaluation using an X-ray, an MRI scan, or a CT scan can assess any damage caused. Back injuries. This injury can involve a sprain or strain and onto a more severe herniated disc, which can cause considerable nerve pain. A further back injury can be a fractured vertebrae. If your job involves a lot of lifting and movement on your feet, nerve damage or disc damage can be unbearable without relief. Internal body injury. The impact of a car accident can result in internal injuries not easily visible. A thorough examination should ascertain any broken rib, internal bleeding, abdominal aorta aneurysm, organ injury, or a collapsed lung. Head injury. Head injuries after an accident can be acutely serious, as obviously the brain controls everything. Force to the head arising from an accident can cause an injury, and it is imperative that this is assessed and dealt with. An MRI or CT or any scan that can help detect of any problem and rule things out. We hope if you're in a vehicle collision at any speed, you will seek some medical attention sooner rather than later. The following are some frequently asked questions about car accident claims. How do I claim from an uninsured driver? Many people have this question, and it is worth taking a case against an uninsured driver, and it's a good question. We hope this post will be of assistance when you're considering this with the detail you now have as mentioned above. How do I take a case against someone who hit my car with no insurance? You can send a demand letter to the offending party requesting confirmation and detail of their insurance, and you must send them what's called a letter of claim calling upon them to admit liability indicating to the facts. Then you should proceed to notify the MIBI mentioned above immediately and try to obtain the insurance detail of the other party from the Garda perhaps. What do you do when an uninsured motorist hits you? It is prudent to contact the Gardaí as soon as possible and maintain any information such as registration, driver's name, etc. How do car accident claims work? An initial step for any injured party who wishes to initiate a personal injury claim is to notify the allegedly offending party of your intention to make the claim within 1 month of the date of the accident. Such claims are submitted to the board. The Personal Injuries Assessment Board is a statutory board that carries out its own private, independent assessment of a person's personal injury claim. It will not assess claims regarding the provision of any medical or surgical procedure in relation to a person, or the provision of any medical advice or treatment to a person. A purely paper-based system, it never carries out oral hearings but assesses claims with regards to medical evidence, such as the medical report furnished by the injured party to the board. If the person who caused the injury consents to the injury board assessing the application, or if they fail to state in writing whether they consent to the assessment or not, the Injuries Board will proceed to carry out the assessment. If the person who causes the accident states in writing that they do not consent to the Injury Board's making an assessment, the Injuries Board will issue what's termed an authorization, which permits the applicant, the injured party, to bring legal proceeding. How long after a car accident can you claim? There is a limit regarding how long an injured person has to initiate a personal injury legal action. This limit is pursuant to the Statute of Limitations Act, and if surpassed, it can cause your claim to be what's termed as a statute barred from court. One has 2 years from the date of the accident to initiate the legal action. How long does a car accident claim take? There is no singular answer that can be given which works for everybody. It depends on the individual case for many reasons, but we will give a general guide. Personal injury claims must be submitted to the Personal Injuries Assessment Board for assessment. On average, claims made to the PIAB are assessed within 9 months from the date the board notified the party who the claim is taken against. If the case is dealt with and concluded at this point to the satisfaction of the parties, the entire time frame could be 9 months to 1 year. If the matter is not dealt with by the Injuries Board, the injured party may have the option of proceeding to court to seek a judgment from the court. Some factors that may affect how long a case takes include: once an application has been made to the Personal Injuries Assessment Board, it usually takes between 9 months to 1 year before it is concluded. If one of the parties does not agree to the Injuries Board making an assessment, the matter can proceed to court. If an assessment sum is not agreed to by one party, the matter can proceed to court. How long will the court case process take depends on various factors such as: is the case straightforward or complex? Is there one injury or multiple injuries? What is the attitude of the defendant to the case? Has liability been admitted or is it contested? Has the injury stabilised? Has the treatment concluded? Has the injured party doctors recommended further treatment? Detail if the further treatment is then required. What number of expert reports are required? Is it easy or difficult to obtain medical records? Have the legal pleadings concluded? In the High Court, the defence must be provided to the injured party's solicitor within 8 weeks from the time the summons is served. This is not a long time, and in personal injury cases, one must proceed step by step in conjunction with the guidance of the doctors assisting the injured party. Medical care can take time, recovery can take time, and guidance from the doctor and the patient's thoughts on their own rehabilitation are important considerations in terms of assessing controlling the speed of a case. What is the Garda Accident Report? This is called the Garda Abstract Report and details the parties involved in the accident and information particulars such as names, insurance details, etc. Disclaimer: please be advised that the mentioned material is intended as an overview and is a broad outline of the topic discussed. It should not be considered as complete and comprehensive legal advice, nor act as an appropriate substitute. Due care has been taken in the publication of this video, and we do not accept legal liability as a result of reliance on any material covered in the video.